That's what's really happening. Wait, okay, we just go. Yeah. So Mark Clifford's doing notes there, and
Well, I tell you, I got to.
sure we're at. I'll just say we got Blackfish.
Yes.
And
Appreciate you.
he was telling us about the Reading Rainbow, and he's 35.
Reading Rainbow.
Well,
Classic
Are
show.
we going to discuss that craziness just happened?
Oh, that we lost?
Okay, we've been in the studio
Don't
for
sweep under the rug,
over
huh?
a year. Yeah, for over a year. Paul said this never
Mark
had
Clifford would know. He's been on before.
never had a problem with us going offline. And so we're talking about how Luke looks like a young Tom Hanks, which led to Tom Hanks' first role in Booze and Buddies. And we're talking about Booze and Buddies. A lot of people don't remember it. Predates this gentleman's life right
Thank
here
you,
by
sir.
a few years.
Thank you, sir.
And so as old timers are reminiscent about the theme of cross-dressing to live in an old woman's New York penthouse. And then we're talking.
Might as well bring in Miss Doubtfire while we're at it.
Yeah,
huh?
exactly. and then we're talking about how Tom Hanks tries to sweep this role under the rug, and then all of a sudden, what happens?
Isn't
We get disconnected.
Oh yeah, should we
We
talk?
get disconnected.
You know what?
That was kind of strange.
Let's fight the system. Yeah, let's keep talking. Isn't it weird how like back in the day that was kind of a joke. Even like back in the days, was it Flip Wilson or what? I mean, you get the old school entertainers. They would cross dress at times, but it was a joke. It was funny. We talking about the Booze and Buddies. We talking about people cross dress as a joke. Now it's you couldn't even do that because it has to be serious, right? Yeah, kind of weird.
Yeah.
Plus, if they did, I guess it has to be taken serious because now you have to fit in some kind of category, right?
Yeah.
You can't just be like, this is gonna be funny. Actually, but
So don't be talking about Booze and Buddies unless
actually, probably there are limits to joking about cross-dressing. Like, if you're wearing the panties, it's you're kind of crossing boundaries. I mean, if I was to wear a dress as a joke, okay, but if I start wearing the panties, I would feel a little.
Maybe
feminine
that's
right there.
beyond wardrobe. They won't,
Yeah,
they
because that's
won't
your.
dress you down to the.
You're feeling that silkiness, right? That's not very. That's I say that's not very.
Manly.
You're not. Yeah.
That's the word you were looking for.
Yeah, he defers to me like I'm the most manly person. His hand goes over.
Hey, I'm gonna start hiring you for the Old Spice commercials.
Exactly.
Actually, isn't it also weird that it feels like I got paused. Like I wonder how to say it because the word manly isn't really. You're not supposed to really say that anymore, are you? Not really.
Banned from the dictionary.
Because manly, it's like that's like it's too toxic, I guess. Right? You're not. What is it with not supposed to be like manly anymore? You guys notice that? Like if you try to be manly, it's like a bad thing. I mean, I kind of. Well, I don't know much about being manly. My dad's a man. He's a manly dude.
You just changed the rule book.
But he was never there. So I kind of look at him like, gosh, that's a manly dude. But he was never there. What is manly to you, Blackfish? Being a man. Because you're a man of God too.
I am. Being a man of God is, having your responsibilities and, having integrity about who you are.
Yeah.
The 3 I's: intensity, integrity, and intelligence. That's what I go by in life. That's my philosophy. So, and this is the thing. To be the man, you got to beat the man. That's old school Ric Flair, but it's actually true. That's scripted television from wrestling, but this is actually reality. To be the man, you got to beat the man. So I live by that as well. So Which is good philosophy. You know?
Amen.
You know how it is.
Amen.
Man. Be the man, you gotta beat the man.
Real men show up. That's what real.
I didn't bring my championship belt today. You know?
You got one?
I didn't bring it today. In my head.
What's that? I was thinking, yeah. Oh, no, I was thinking of Jerry Springer. Yeah, he just passed away.
Did he?
Yeah.
Jerry Springer passed away? I didn't even know that, man.
It just
Jerry.
Yeah.
He brought on a lot of stuff.
He passed, when did he pass?
A few days ago.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
He just brought up a lot of stuff, like the word colorblind, right? Now people say they're colorblind.
Yeah.
And I saw this woman was talking about she doesn't see color. I was like, "Hey, you just said the N word right there." She's a white woman. She's saying the N word, because the guy she's dating just told her that he's black, and it's weird. Like she's like, I can't believe you're black. It's like, okay, he's right. You never saw it, so I guess she was colorblind.
Yeah.
But obviously she's not mentally colorblind.
Right.
And then, so it just hit me because I was actually watching that today, and I'm like, so that's more the problem with society. Because every time with the racism thing, when someone says they're colorblind, that seems like an excuse. Because I'm like, you have eyes, you see someone's color.
Right.
I mean, you're not. Are you mentally colorblind? Though?
Right.
That's the thing. I think that's okay. Finally, I could fit in somewhere now because I'm like. But Jerry Springer, memories. And what about the guessing if it's a man or a woman? I miss those shows. The Jerry Springer.
That's Jerry Springer?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Back in the day, exactly.
Midgets.
Wasn't allowed to watch it growing up, though, so.
Really?
No.
Well, you were watching Reading Rainbow and stuff.
I was watching.
You must have seen some of them.
Youngster.
A little bit, you know, they come on, commercials, a little sneak peek. What are you watching? Do your homework, son. I will.
Yeah, some of it shows reminiscent.
Don't put the vegetables under the table, they say.
Was it?
All right, Luke.
That's Reading Rainbow?
No.
Was that Jerry? Are we talking about Jerry
No, I'm
Springer?
talking about actual dinner time.
Oh.
When I was a child.
I mixed the vegetables in with the milk when I was.
Really,
You remember time eating that old school okra,
Yeah.
just like, I'm eating it, and put it under the table. Yeah, there you go.
But you sound like you had some like good parents growing up.
Yeah, I did. Raised in a good household, for sure.
Mother and father.
Mother and father still married. Family of seven.
Get out. I'm family of 7 too.
Hey, congratulations.
Six boys and a girl.
5 boys, 2 girls.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm actually the third, Ray the third.
I'm second.
See?
Ray?
Ray the third.
Middle name's Ray, right?
Hey, man.
And I'm Ray the third too.
It actually
For the
is.
middle name.
This is something.
It
Yeah.
actually is. This isn't like
This is my brother, everybody. My long lost brother.
This isn't fake news.
And I've been looking for years, and Luke didn't say a word.
I
Shame on you, Luke.
23andMe brought us together.
He's been hitting me up and saying nothing about you and keeping it a surprise.
That's right.
You're a vegetarian,
Let's
you.
keep it going. I want to see some more stuff we have in common.
It's not.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, man. Yeah.
It's not really like I was. Mark was telling me about how the guests come on the show.
Yeah.
And I've been here
pretty
for a
good.
while, so I don't even look for people anymore. It's just like,
Survive.
well, I'm gonna do this, and so whoever just comes to me,
Gotta know your vibes.
goes away. Meaning like whoever the algorithms are saying, you better put this person on. So I realized every person is kind of like linked together.
Yeah?
I don't even mean to do that, but it looks you're like, look at this right here.
Yeah.
So, not to cut you off, Luke, what is your last name?
Clifford, like the big red dog.
You said Ray the third.
Ray, so
is-
my middle name's Ray, and I'm Ray the third from my grandfather.
This is
San Francisco,
crazy.
and then my uncle, then to me.
Hey, man.
Wow.
When my dad gets a load of these beans.
This is kind of a Jerry Springer thing, but more in a peaceful way.
That's good. I mean, you never know what somebody. That's why I always say you can learn from everybody and every step of walk of life. You never know who you meet. You know
I mean, I'll tell you
what
what.
they can teach you in this world we live in. You know.
Everybody's worth the conversation
For
because
sure.
we have so much in common.
For sure.
And that's the crazy thing about today. We're talking about all the inconsistencies.
Wow.
Sit down, and talk to people.
And we don't need to
You'll-
do
you'll know each other.
What's that DNA thing? The
No.
23andMe.
23. It says it on his profile website.
He's got a more famous name than I do.
But people do. It's amazing. I have seen people just put out websites, and it's not actually what they are. That is amazing. I'm not that smart with it.
Yeah.
I wanna put a website out that I'm a brain surgeon. Just have people just they get in my messages. It just actually no, maybe.
You think they're going to engage into it?
Yeah, but that's not too interesting. You know, maybe I could be like a Dr. Pimp Popper. Because that could be more interesting.
Yeah.
Right there. Or I could just, say on Joe Rogan, I guess.
You could. I mean, people just.
Joe Rogan?
People just. I mean, look at some of our politicians. They just say who they are.
Yeah.
They are who they think they are. You know.
Well, yeah.
So we got we got into politics right now. You said our politicians.
That said the P word.
Yeah,
That was it. That was it.
bad
It opens
word,
up the
the bad
Pandora's
word,
box.
man.
So, yeah, I mean, see, look, I don't see. I write notes.
Got notes galore.
I don't really. See, I can't figure these out. I didn't even say.
You gonna
anything.
freestyle the notes?
No. Hey, do I seem like I could flow? You don't want me to flow, man.
Hey, man.
I used to have.
The table's yours,
I had
my
a
brother.
monthly hip hop show in the studio.
Did you?
Once a month, and they had passed the mic around to me. I didn't punk out, but it didn't go well. We always had one person that wasn't a rapper, and they're just like, "Well, why are they letting you do this?" If you let the homies in the studio and the rappers, they probably just I love the support. They're like, "Well, he grabbed the mic and he said stuff." But so what politics? What are we thinking right now? I mean, what's going on in the world right now? We get because I know you guys got different views. That's why we'll just not views, but different backgrounds. So we just dive into that.
Do we have different backgrounds? I mean, we're just like we have a lot of stuff. We
Possibility.
have a lot of stuff going on here. A lot of
We
stuff.
do.
in
I mean,
common.
what do you think coming out here right now? They said that the National Guard was coming out to the Tenderloin.
Really?
How did it look today? Did it look all right?
It's pretty cool.
They're trying to get rid of the fentanyl dealers.
Well,
I mean, that's.
is that a question or what?
Well,
What do you
I think
about the. I mean, it's mostly the question is about they sending out the National Guard. What are they doing here?
It's pretty hostile.
well,
I mean, that stuff is dangerous.
Depending on what the fentanyl thing.
That stuff's dangerous. I mean, it needs to get off the street, if you ask me.
I think
Too many ages of walks of life
Yeah.
are passing by.
a lot of people are dying behind fentanyl. And I think when you look at the problem with the American drug culture is that people say we're in a war on drugs, and we're not in a war on drugs.
Right.
We're in a war on addiction. We're
Right.
a nation of addicts, and so we have to really hit. It's not the drug getting over that. It's going
the
for
addiction.
the reason for the addiction. And there was an article in the paper last week how we spent so much money in California on our homelessness, and it's not helping anything. Why is this occurring? So I think that now, what they got to go out and they have to interview these homeless people and find out what they have in common that got them homeless in the first place. We have to be solution based in this. And so we have to look for the inciting incident that makes people addicts and it makes people homeless. And oftentimes it goes back to childhood traumas.
Dig deep into the story.
Yeah, you got to dig deep
Who
into
they
the
are,
story. You have to
who they
ask the
are.
right. We're a data-driven culture, and now you just get those.
Definitely has to do
put
with
that
family.
stuff together. It has to do with family.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's a
I
little.
mean, and you and I can say that because we come from good families.
For sure. For sure.
Our families are together. We come
Sure.
from big families. We
Yeah.
know the importance of
Yes.
sitting down at a dinner table and having dinner time discussions.
Yeah.
And having a father that's there and it's
Yeah.
dependable. And
Mother,
I mean,
yeah.
I think you got to break it down. That's why I do feel like you got to get rid of the guys dealing because they're dealing right next to.
Where did Curtis Blow said, "These are the braves."
Yeah.
break it up,
He's gonna
break it up.
break it up.
She's dealing right next to the addicts. It's like, come on, man. Like, they're sleeping on the streets. But I guess, from doing security back in the day, I do see his mental illness because there's people that live out in the streets, sleeping on the streets. And once a week, I would see their family come by and
Really?
give them stuff. But they don't take them away because they kind of got accustomed to being on the streets here.
Right.
And that was different for me because I lived on in the car back in the day growing up, but we would look for the resources. We ain't trying to stay that way.
Right.
Yeah, and we open up other areas to like help out the addicts and the homeless. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I ran those programs and developed those programs successfully as a police officer in the last couple of years of my career, and you know, fortunately, a lot of the programs fell apart, you know, back in 2020, but they're there, and I think that they're probably going to get resurrected again, and we're going to try to be better leaders with the resources that support them, you know, and not have law enforcement necessarily be the spearhead, but there to support a lot of these other programs that were developed. Law enforcement officers go through a tremendous amount of training with homeless outreach, and I worked a lot in the drug court system, and these programs work, but they're expensive. They're expensive, but I tell you what, it feels really good when you've really impacted a life and gave somebody their life back.
Right.
Got them housed, got them ahead of their addiction, and they're living a good life.
Yeah, the Blackfish. Yeah, I think you got some songs out there. I was doing you seem conscious. You can talk about the police. Well, what's your view on that? The police issue out there.
With what? What topic?
Just police. Well, because it was also you know, we've dealt with so many
different avenues with that. So a lot of avenues to cover.
Well, we've had defunding the police, and
I think the police are fair when they want to be fair.
a
lot of them break the laws just like everybody else does. Not, you know, everybody plays a part.
How can things be better? I guess.
How can it be better if they play it by the book? And, you know, if they go by the book, things will be better. But not all the time by the book is good neither, because sometimes they go by the book and still overbreak the rules. So it's kind of like police is a touchy subject for me, because you know how it is.
You know, it is, and it's you know, it's interesting. It's an interesting profession, and I've been 2 years out of it and kind of reinvented myself in some other ways, but I'm still very connected to it emotionally. I want to see society succeed.
Right,
you know,
right.
And it's the one profession that societies can't do without, because if you do without it, you become a system of vigilantes.
Yes,
anarchists, right?
And so it's kind of
anarchy,
funny.
right? You're talking about anarchy.
I've actually, what's that?
You're talking about anarchy.
Oh yeah, we've all been we've seen anarchy.
Yeah.
Is it, you know, it's Martin Luther King had a great quote, and it was, "We hate each other because we don't know each other." You know,
wow, that's
we hate each other because we don't know each other, and so it was great that you and I know each other.
Yes,
and we have a lot of common.
You're related.
And if more people do that, and one of the things I actually suggested this to a rapper last year, and he never got back to me. But wouldn't it be great to have a hip hop star with a police officer who's a hip hop star? Because it's kind of funny when you look at you know, a lot of cops are hip hop fans, and they would love to be a hip hop singer.
They won't be in the videos.
And is it, you have some type of mutual thing where you kind of champion each other.
Right.
And I tell you, stuff like that is that you create that bridge.
Yeah.
You create that bridge, and you fill in that gap. That'd be a great program.
That would be
Not much
You
of
go
a-
in, you reach out to different law enforcement agencies, and I guarantee you, there's a cop in there that fancies himself or herself as a hip hop, and you get something together, and you've just brought these communities
a lot
together.
of friction. That's why I say a lot of times on the show. I say,
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I say I want to love police. That's why I'm like,
Right.
I would like to see change, because you know, I see how things should be different. You know, I would love to be like, man, I love the police.
Well, Don Cornelius said it the best: peace, love, and soul.
Hey, but speaking of soul, you know, the one person that comes to mind is Mr. Fab.
What's that, baby?
This guy, man, you know, this guy is a guy that
Shout out to Mr. Fab.
working with the community,
Good man.
and you know, they showed him like talking to the police, for like trying to help out the community. Like if you wanna help, you see a problem,
Well, that's a good brother.
tackle the situation.
I actually met him on the BART train about 2015 or 2016, or maybe before then. I was supposed to do a verse with him, but my funds wasn't ready. But I'm getting my funds together, Mr. Fab, and we'll talk soon.
Funds, no wonder I never got him in the studio here. But
Well, I mean, he's a businessman too. He's got the dope era in Oakland on 19.
yeah, we
That's
passed
a
by.
store he got, you know.
We passed by.
Still
him.
doing music.
Let's see what happened.
Great brother, great brother.
I think I was maybe a little tipsy. I don't know, because we passed by the dope era and I saw him.
See him outside?
He was inside the store. The door was open. I saw him talking to people. I was like, man, I'll go in, but then we kept on walking by.
That's a good brother. Very good to talk to. Friendly brother.
Yeah, he's one with the community.
And he gives back to the community. Not only him, Filthy Rich does too. He does. He does.
Filthy Rich. I had a
guest
on KT Tyson. She had like a super crush on him.
Well, Filthy Rich?
Every time she would post on him. Like, man, now you're angry that he's not going out. Like she would say, he's my baby daddy, and why ain't he getting back to me? I love him. Filthy's the man with the ladies, I guess. It's like the way women would get angry at the Filthy for not, not making that romance happen. It's you're the man when it's like these not good people.
Yeah.
They just want to get with you. But it's probably like, 5 or 10 women. Come on, that's going to cause a problem, man. It's going to cause a problem, man. Especially when they want to lock it down. Like Black Phish got locked down. You got yourself. You got yourself a lady.
Got my queen Rashida. She's right there.
Is this marriage?
9 years and counting.
A marriage.
When we get to 10, we'll make a decade, everybody.
So you married right here?
Yes, sir. Married.
All right, you locked it down.
Nice. Yeah.
It's not marriage is what you make. It's a blessing. God above, so praise God for that.
Yeah, he's got a whole song he talks about.
Majority of my, whatever you want to get into, majority of my music is about real life testimonies and stuff you can relate to and stuff you can enjoy.
Yeah.
We're gonna hear some of that.
So when you say it, which you can't be enjoying. So
we want to talk about your parents. I love DMX because he was real about what he went through, and he always said prayers in his music.
Yeah,
and he was honest, and he didn't care what the world thought about him. Rest in peace to him. He had addictions. He shared it with the world, whether you judged him or not. He still prayed and asked God for forgiveness, and still lived his life. Nobody's perfect. We live and we learn. We sin we don't. We sin we don't. We sin we don't. But as long as you want to make a change, that's what matters.
In your life, when I used to go,
maybe you don't. But maybe if you try to make a change, that's a blessing.
Every week when I used to go to my men's group, I used to listen to DMX beforehand.
Yeah.
Just in case they called on me to pray. I'm just not much into praying in a group of people because I feel like y'all just giving you what to pray for out there. I don't know how to do this right now. DMX. All right, Lord. Lord, I pray, and then they came out.
Right.
It was. Yeah.
It came to you, huh?
So you go to church, huh?
Yeah, I go to Cornerstone Bible Church. I bounce to a few churches in Sacramento.
Cornerstone.
In Sacramento. There's a few churches I go to in Sacramento, but I haven't found a home base yet. But
is there more than one Cornerstone?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
It might be two. Cornerstone Bible Church.
Might have been there. Or else it's just popular. I don't know because I know about it.
It's one in Sacramento, and then there's another church we go to. It's called New Life in Christ Jesus, but it's a smaller church. But so I'm just trying to find a home base. Where the word is real, where the word of God is real. Some people fabricate it in churches. You know how it is.
I've had a hard time.
Some people are greedy. That's what I meant to say.
I've had a hard time going to one church. Not because Pastor David is coleslaw, but the devil's lettuce. We had him on the show.
Right.
No, good dude. I find when I go to one church, I'm not right though. But
the Lord says, "Come as you are, my brother. Come as you are." Who is right in this world of time?
But the thing is, when I go to one church, I do feel like I like belonging to many.
Yeah.
Because I feel like once I've gone to one for a while, it makes it to where it's more like cliquey with that one.
Yeah.
And now I'm just kind of part of your group instead of like part of God there.
Right.
So that's why I like joining many and kind of like, all right, I'm going over here. I'm seeing, what this person's got to say.
Right.
And man, God has really knocked me over the head in life and made me realize you got to come see me.
Right.
Because I've had my head cracked open twice at church.
Fall down twice, you must get back up.
I did.
Do you remember that song? We fall down, we must get up.
No.
You remember that?
Wait, what?
We fall
you know that song?
But we get up.
I was just thinking when we're talking, everybody needs an anthem. You know,
Yeah, for sure,
everybody
for
needs
sure.
an anthem. You know, just thinking of all the different anthems that we have through church, through music. You know,
Music in general.
Yeah, Eye the Tiger, man. So
Music
He
is
got some great
keep on
anthems on
going.
his show.
Music is for the soul. You have your own show as well?
I do.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Might-
so
he might get me on there in the future, everybody.
yeah,
he didn't
actually,
quote it yet, but
you
he
know,
might get Blackfish in there.
Well, I tell you what. I mean, there are some questions. Like last week, my last guest was this guy Scotty Fraser. He's a country music guy. Grew up here, and he fought with my brother over in Iraq in 03, and now he's a country music guy. And so I had him come on to talk about how his traumas in Iraq influenced his music. And my show is called Heroes for Hope, and it's all about turning your traumas into superpowers.
So you have a podcast as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your trauma into what side?
Yeah, and so I mean, you know, I'm interested. One of the reasons why I really wanted to come on today is to talk about some of your traumas and how they inform on music as an artist. I'm a writer, as Luke knows. I have a book, Typhoon Coast, and I do a lot of other things that involve the California Writers Conference. The California Writers Club, and I'm speaking next. It's always 90% of the time, it's directly related to something that happened to you as a child,
right?
You know, and so those are the things we really got to get back, and we got to really look at those, because you can imagine 10 years in the Marine Corps, 20 years in law enforcement, we deal with a lot of PTSD, individually, and so I got really proactive about that, and I got involved in something that's called post-traumatic growth, and that's where you look back at your traumas and you say, okay, this is what happened, and I'm not going to let it define me. I'm going to bounce forward from it.
So I'm always eager to tell, not eager, but to tell people about what's going on.
You're going to tell her right now?
Yeah, that's 16 bar machine. That's.
I mean, there's 60 bars. Wait, 60 minutes of bars. Yeah, 16 bars.
Touch one is always a blessing. People that bought my albums, I sell them every day. They say, hey,
Blackfish.
that's 18. Right.
Money, but when we broke we curse, they say everybody hates Chris. They never knew me first. Your family going all out for prom. I see they releasing hip hop like semen, open and procreate. I separate the real from the fake while showing no restraints. Attended all meetings for rap. I guess I relapsed cause my addiction way too strong. My sponsor said that. And 16 bars ain't enough. I need some more tracks. If hip hop ever died, use witchcraft to bring it back. Ultimate 16 bar machine, the coldest flow in hip hop. The best that ever did it. Ultimate 16 bar machine, the coldest flow in hip hop. The best that ever did it. That's not. I'm moving and I'm grooving, smoking on the groove, moving and improving. Smoking on the Cuban. Popping tags, riding tags. This is how we do it. I'm moving and improving. Smoking on the Cuban. Popping tags, riding tags. This is how I do it. I'm moving and improving. Smoking on the Cuban. Popping tags, riding tags. This is how we do it. I'm riding around, getting like my name two chains. I'm on fire like the Statue of Liberty. I'm getting paid. Paparazzi in my face cause I'm moving and I'm grooving. Smoking on the Cuban. Ain't nothing else to it. Popping champagne bottles like this when I find out me and the wife. Living our best life. Flying around across Japan, Tokyo, Japan. You don't understand. I'm making moves, so I'm moving and I'm doing. Hustling every day for the family. Ain't nothing to it. Yes, I'm on BOSS. I'm a boss, I ain't stressed. I'm blessed. God is good every day. I woke up today. So I'm moving and I'm doing. Ain't nothing else to it. Tomorrow ain't promised, so I'm living my best life for the moment. Yes, and not the next night. I'm moving and I'm grooving. Smoking on the Cuban. Popping tags, this is how I do it. I'm moving and I'm grooving. Smoking on the Cuban. Popping tags, this is how we do it. I'm moving and I'm grooving. Smoking on the Cuban. Popping tags, this is how I do it. I'm moving and I'm grooving. Smoking on the Cuban. Popping tags, this is how we do it. Stacking blocks up like Tetris. Cats get popped up, I get flexing. My heart big enough to stand spread to each city section. It's the man winning another election. Talking feet, abiding by the quality. Stuck, hide inside of me. Provide the game, right up, pull up the line. Guys living, burn bridges, I break ties. Hands keep it fair, never take sides. I make the win in my design. I don't recline till I resign. Burn my kingdom, you must use reason. Sprinkle heavy on the max sauce, well seasoned. Bringing all the heat, all heathens. Have you feeling and leaning like you're on the lean. Queen Supreme.
Moving and grooving.
Moving and grooving. Future Attack, Quinn. You know how to San Francisco.
With the drama, how they fucking Cubans that believe in the Bahamas. We're caught back, black and dish. You don't wanna, you know me. Like fish, gotta catch a marijuana. Had a thing, God listen me to see another day. Had a thing, like on me on the way. If we get it, gotta flip it, then we split it, but we go. We take running in some bitches while you running your way home. Even with the tension, can't stay with the trauma. We've been smoking Cubans that believe in the Bahamas. We've been grinding, we've been moving and improving to the top. Like a ticket with no arrows. Loving every shot, I'm moving and I'm grooving, smoking on and moving and popping tags, riding tags. This is how I do it. I'm moving and I'm grooving, smoking on and moving, popping tags, riding tags. This is how we do it. I'm moving and I'm grooving, smoking on and moving, popping tags, riding tags. How I do it. I'm moving and I'm grooving, smoking on and moving, popping tags. How we do it.
About some other things. Okay, that's all about sharing your story.
Yeah, man,
We're live.
we get real over here.
Yeah, you got the mic on.
Wow.
You know, I tell you, it's
So you got Kevin Briggs coming on, or he coming on?
he's coming on. Yeah, looking forward to it, and I think I got a hold of him through you. He's one of your past guests.
So just that one Kevin.
He's a big deal. Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
actually, the other Kevin friended me on Facebook.
What's amazing
so
is I got
the
them
whole-
on, and they weren't in studio actually. So, dang, this is my Pringle. First, I had Kevin Briggs on for the first hour on the phone thing, and then next up, I had the other Kevin, and it was weird how that connected. I suppose they knew each other was on the show. I don't know. They weren't talking at the same time, but it was cool little.
Yeah, I think they do their
story
thing
there.
together. You know, Kevin has a wonderful YouTube on his channel. If you just look him up, Kevin Briggs will probably take you to it. And it's just an amazing story. And just a little bit about it, because he'll be my next guest in May, is that he's also known as a guardian of the Golden Gate. He's got a book out. And he is a retired CHP sergeant, and his beat was the north end of the Golden Gate Bridge, the Marine side. And so he would be detailed out for prospective jumpers. And so he is credited for saving over 200 people from leaping to their death. Just an amazing story.
And it can
amazing
take
story.
hours, too.
It can take hours. It can take hours. Yeah, that's one of the things as a police officer for 27 years that I saw so many suicides, just so many suicides. It was one of the things that I just always had a hard time wrapping my head around, why people would kill themselves. And sadly, Golden Gate Bridge is a bridge that they built to be suicide proof, so people wouldn't jump off of it in 1937. And now people come from all over the world to do it. They put up that suicide net. I was walking across a bridge with my wife not too long ago, and it's just this big, it looks like a cyclone fence that's underneath the bridge now. It's supposed to catch you, and then I think an arm goes out to pick up prospective jumpers. But also, it's all about it's all about a deterrent, so people think twice about it. But sadly enough, is that like we were talking earlier about addiction and homelessness, is that wow, I hit the table a lot when I talk.
Get passionate, man.
Get passionate man, and is that we talk about gun suicides, is that it's suicide's the problem, is that we live in a culture of hopelessness. So if we just got better at giving people hope, and that's kind of like my podcast, Heroes for Hope, Thriving Beyond Trauma. It's being able to turn the tables and realize that life is a gift. It's a gift.
Well, it's weird when you get over things, you realize it's a gift.
Yeah.
But when you don't, you still think there's a chance I might want to end it all.
Yeah.
It's weird how it takes overcoming things that.
You gotta be an overcomer, an upstander.
You've been in situations where you felt like you might die. Yeah. Just not even by trying to end your life. You've been in a situation you feel like, yeah, I'm gonna get shot.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one of the things, like as a police officer, that's kind of how you anticipate the end. Like for me, especially when I worked undercover, it's like what's my reaction going to be when I get shot? Because I'm always anticipating getting shot. But when I was a Marine, it was a little bit different. And one of the incidents that I was involved in that I based Typhoon Coast on was my time in the Philippines in 1991 when Mount Pinatubo erupted. It was the largest volcanic eruption in a populated area of last century, and it was epic to the point of that a typhoon moved through at the exact same time, and so it gave the ash a tremendous amount of weight, and so you can imagine that tropical structures are very light, and so literally being buried alive for a day, and knowing that you are being buried alive inside one of these structures. There's no power. The earth is shaking continuously. A typhoon is moving through. The jungle is being defoliated around you, so it sounds like constant machine gun fire. And in fact, I was just having dinner the other night with a buddy of mine who we survived it together with. And you just kind of going, oh, this is how it's going to end, and I'm okay. I'm going to die here. And then you go to sleep, and then thinking you're not going to wake up, and then you wake up and you go, you know what? I got another shot at life here, and this is what I'm going to do. And I was a young man; I was 25 years old, and now I look back at all my other guests that have been on my show that have just been survivors of these epic ordeals, and they all walk away. Can you imagine one of my guys that I was that I had on my show, Rock Ramos? He was an EMT during 9/11, and he literally saw the first strike at the World Trade Center. Radios it in. Everybody thought his radio traffic was a joke until a lieutenant gets on and says, "No, it actually happened." And he was buried under that ash. And he talks about his ordeal and then his opportunity for a second chance at life. And so all these people that I have on, they have that same, it made me a better, more aware person. I feel more connected to people. I have a better view of life and my purpose in life. So it really is a gift. It really is a growth. It really is a bouncing forward.
All these people you've had on, how many shows have you done?
Well, I tell you, it sounds like I've done, like I'm on episode 40, season 1. We're going up to 10, and I want to actually get 20 solid out of it, and then I'll turn it into a book in probably 2024 after I finish up my second book in this.
Okay, you're quitting after that, after 10.
No. You know what? I'll
becomes
probably keep
addicting,
it. It
man.
becomes addicting. It really does. I mean, we talked about booking, getting bookings for our shows, and I also do bookings for the California Writers Club for our monthly speakers, and it does become a bit of a. I mean, it's a lot of pressure in it, but also just the rewards are just amazing because especially when you talk about traumas, is that stories have a wisdom, and you have to share that wisdom for other people because you never know when your story is going to save a life. It's going to give somebody hope, and they're going to turn it around and they're going to realize, you know what? If that story helped me, I want my story to be told to help other people.
And so, what the hell would make you want to do it? You get in this podcast thing.
So, as a writer, you're constantly looking for
Show here.
platforms and opportunities to promote yourself. Trying to refine your brand. If you go onto my website, markrclifford.com, you'll find out. Is that I'm always posting stuff. I'm posting blog posts. I'm posting all sorts of stuff under events, and so. One time I was part of a veterans ceremony, and people were there honoring veterans, and I had a presentation in it, and they asked for people in the audience to stand up who served their country, and I thought that everybody would be standing up, and I found so few people serve their country. It's like 1% of Americans actually serve the country. Probably even slightly more are actually first responders. I think it's yet like 6% are first responders. And also, so from the veteran first responder perspective, is that like police officers after a 25-year career, you have experienced 800 traumas, whereas, or we call them critical incidents, whereas your average citizen in a lifetime, they experience 1 or 2. So I felt during this mental health crisis we're going through in America, where we have all different levels of stress and anxiety and panic disorders, is that somewhere we find some resilience in it. We learn about it. I've learned a lot about it, and so we owe it to the people that we serve and protect to share our stories, to give them a sense of resilience. Say, if this person has been able to endure this, and this is why they do it. Because in every episode, what I do is I introduce my guest, and what I want them to talk about is themselves before, entering the service or getting into becoming an EMT or whatever trauma led up to it, themselves the trauma, themselves after the trauma, and how that experience is helped them. And help them help other people, because it's all about post-traumatic growth. It's not getting stuck in your PTSD, your post-traumatic stress disorder. So it's a wonderful gift. And so when I'm kind of circle back to that presentation I was doing, I go, wow, there's so few people here. Is that I'd like to have a better representation of our veteran community that's thriving, that are out there, and they are musicians, they're artists, they're poets, or whatever. So I'm just bringing them together, and I want to start focusing on communities and community events so that I can put out into these communities and sponsor it through like libraries or bookstores or what have you, and just showcase that we have veterans in our community that are making our community a better place. We're having first responders in our community. Like I said earlier, is that we hate each other because we don't know each other, as Martin Luther King. Yeah. And it really impacted me is we got to get to know each other, because we've just become so tribal in our society now, and we've just gone off to our corners. And
then if people treat me a certain way, I might not know them very well, but I'm like, I don't want anything to do with you anymore.
Yeah.
I'm giving you too much.
Yeah, it's all about.
I mean, I had, I say I had a situation, but I had situations lately with hostility where you look at the people and you're like, this is now a situation where mental illness, where people have become more hostile in society. I had a guy last week who was really coming at me. when it was just a simple like, just seemed like my just presence
Mm-hmm.
caused yelling, caused anger, caused threatening. But the thing is, when I say the mental illness is to where it's like, I've seen that kind of thing with the guy, but it's like, oh, okay, it's okay, I'll get over this. But then when it clicked that day to where it's like, this keeps being an on and off switch with this guy. And then it's just you can see just the anger in his face and just the entire body, like, what's going on with you? It just seems like there's something going on lately where people are just not, and the crazy thing to me, it seems like adults. I say adult. I want to say adult men because I guess being a man, I look at men more and to look at myself as a way go, ooh. It seemed in that work, it seemed like the same, a lot of with the people, a lot of hostility also, to where the same kind of vibe, to where, hey, they were cool, but now just all of a sudden they just
Yeah, it's I went to this Warrior Path program a year or so ago, and it's a wonderful program. I write about it a lot on my I talk about it a lot on my podcast, and I write about it a lot on my website. And it was just a great opportunity. But what it did, it taught me some really good methods of making myself calmer as a person, and not being as angry, being able to calm my central nervous system, but also it validated some things that I picked up. When I was a cop at 40, I hurt my back, and I thought it was debilitating enough injury to end my career. Well, I discovered yoga. I discovered hot yoga in the process of going through all sorts of different methods of trying to better myself. And so I adopted that. It was a great thing I discovered. I use it today. It gave me some career longevity. And then, like, at 50, I wasn't the best version of myself, and I wanted to do some self-improvement. I went through a lot of critical incidents at work, so I was already mandated to attend a lot of kind of therapy sessions. And my wife jumped on board, and we got into that. So I really got into I adopted a meditation, mindfulness. And so when I went to this PATH program, I realized, man, I really got some good habits. And so it's giving people this mental health hygiene, to being able to buy into meditation, breathing, being able to control their anxieties and stuff, because oftentimes the first thing that we give people who are suffering from anxiety and anger and hostility are put them on drugs, when there are so many things that you can do that lead up to that to prevent it.
I guess it does seem like more of a see, again, I'm a man, so
I'm a man too.
You're a man. Okay, good, because
Got Paul over here.
But it's funny that being a man, so when people have to use the restroom, people are like, wait, he's going to the women's room. I'm like, I don't know. But
I want to circle back to that men's and women's room too.
Okay. Gotta keep it in mind. I guess the thing I'm getting at is, as a man, it seems like, I don't know about the ladies. Lady discusses with it being a man, well and fair, to just speak for the ladies. But, so man, I feel like there's a lot of, I gotta be a man and all that stuff. So I feel like maybe there's less, maybe mental health that a lot of men are getting.
Yeah, there's a whole concept of of stigma, getting over the stigma of mental health, and I think that we have made a lot of progress in that in the past, I would say, 2 years, especially since COVID, and we've realized that COVID had a profound impact on America's mental health, so much so that we have, just watch the news, listen to the radio. They have a lot of advertisements out there about mental health, therapy and stuff. So I think the stigma for mental health is really going away. But now what it is that people have to know is that, therapy shouldn't be for when you're experiencing a breakdown. It's the things you can do to prevent that breakdown through meditation, taking professional pauses, and those type of things. When you're talking about the men's and women's room, I was at a rodeo over the weekend, and the rodeo was great. It was up in Auburn. It was just really patriotic, and they had all the veterans stand up and be recognized, which was another group where I was like, especially in a patriotic group like that, you would think there are a lot more veterans, and I would say out of 1,000 people, maybe 30 people stood up, and then the same for the first responders, and so very unrepresented. You think that there would be a lot of them there, but just what you were saying about the men's and women's rooms is that there were just lines. There were big lines in two places. To get a beer was a big line, and for the women's room, and then there was nobody in the men's room.
Were they going for the Bud Light?
There's a lot of waiting.
Were they going for the Bud Light?
That stacks the Bud Light.
Isn't that so? Isn't that so weird? The Bud Light thing, because the way I see it, man, this should be the breakup of whatever political or whatever party you believe in. To where it's like they're just shooting a can, and the kid, I guess the Kid Rock started this.
Kid Rock.
He's just shooting a can, and I mean, I'm not either way. Now things are just becoming entertainment because I'm not either way on this. Instead, it's just like, wow, we've just become entertainment in this world.
Isn't that funny? Because that kind of occurred to me is, I know we talked about the P word, the politics, but when you look at entertainment, and you look at how many opportunities you have to be entertained out there as an American, be it music, be it reading,
now politics,
be it seeing a movie, and also politics, because the news has just become a form of entertainment. It's like, do I want to watch Fox or do I want to watch CNN?
Well, now they got rid of
now that it's competing with sports and everything.
They made a switch. Okay, if we get rid of Tucker. All right, you gotta get rid of Don Lemon. It's like, all right, man.
It's all entertainment based. Politicians are vying for your entertainment time.
Okay, well,
you want to listen to a song?
Yeah, mate. Well, okay, we'll get to some. I guess what I'm saying about the Bud Light is what it hit me working in a grocery store. I think that's when politics hit me with this stuff, is because I did not see any of those cans on the shelf.
Yeah.
So that's when it hit me like, what are they doing to America? When I didn't see any of this on the shelf, it just reminded me of like these movies like the Black Little Mermaid, where it's like, because there's other things like that are controversial that they're trying to put out there that aren't even out there yet. It's like y'all just trying to get us aggravated ahead of time, 4 years before something like this comes out. It's just weird world like this where I don't even see this thing other than ads.
Yeah.
Or the Bud Light transgender thing was a TikTok video. It's like I don't see it on shelves, so I'm not angry. But I guess if I constantly saw this TikTok video of the person, maybe
you don't know. There's so much information out there. It's just unbelievable.
I think we're supposed to play a song right now.
Let's go. Let's jump in.
We'll come right back after this break.
This is from the. I mean, we're not gonna get rid. We're still on, right? I'm gonna play the Black Phish of. We're gonna play. This is the third song. All right, Black Phish. Let's go. Oh.
Bobby. My life goes on into my promise. I'm swimming with the sharks. To the park. Over the car. Brothers ain't got no cash. Well, of course I'm a sign. Well, of course I'm a grind. Rest in peace to the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Let's get it. I'm in the land, I'm making it. Moonwalking like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson. I'm in the lab, I'm making it. Moonwalking like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson. I'm in the lab, I'm making it. Moonwalking like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson. Making hits, moonwalking like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson. Flow like a butterfly, stay like a bee, defeated in the bush like Floyd in my bee. I bring the heat like me, man. I deserve a Grammy, man. Bars like a prison, man. You know I live in bars. I take flow, man. I'll let you know. Bitch going hard, I'm the MVP like Steph Curry. Yeah, I'm a beat. Dug under my head is like NBA. I'm rap, I'm feeling good. I'm in the lab. I'm moonwalking like Michael Jackson. Home run after home run. You can call me Barry Bonds. I am a boss like Rick Ross. They did to the sauce. I'm carrying the car. Rest in peace to the jacket, man. Hey, legend, man, but you know what it is. Sound like a star, man. It's like a chandelier. California band, man. I'm fight fair. I'm not an actor. I'm a rapper. Green in the Green Bay Packers. Always been a factor. Do it for my family. Task force, boy, we win over here. I'm in the lab. I'm making it. Moonwalking like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson. I'm in the lab. I'm making it. Moonwalking like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson. I'm in the lab. I'm making it. Moonwalking like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson. I'm in the lab. I'm making it. Moonwalking like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson. It's a freestyle. I don't like no pen and paper, no rehearsal, man, no Urkel, man. It's official, man. I'm in the lab, I'm making it. Moonwalking like Michael Jackson. I got time to write no rhyme. Sound like a star, you know, I'm getting it in. Papa right to you again, cause my battle. Shout out to my family, man, that believes in me since day one. Do it for my family, all about my salary. Bitch going hard, give them the calories. I'm good, I'm feeling good. I'm in the lab, gotta make them hit. Cross them over like, hey, I'm the greatest like Ali. I'm in the lab, I'm making it. Moonwalking like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson. I'm in the lab, I'm making it. Moonwalking like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson. I'm in the lab, I'm making it. Moonwalking like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson. I'm in the lab, I'm making it. Moonwalking like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson.
No, Paul, what are we taking on? Let's let this candle roll. Oh, is it? Okay. So, talking to the Mark Clifford. You know, gosh darn it, the Blackfish didn't finish his power right there.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the show so far? because this is a podcast. So you're now the podcast guy,
Now
not
the
author
podcast guy. When I set up for my podcast, like we were talking earlier, you're a veteran podcaster. I'm kind of new in the game. There are a lot more people in the game now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find my own little niche. That's why I'm kind of getting off the PTSD track, trying to get into the PTSG, the post-traumatic growth, which is kind of a new concept for a lot of people. Not a lot of stuff out there, and so I keep mine structured. It's not scripted; it's structured. But when you're out here, I think that people love when things get real. People love to say, "Wow, I wasn't expecting that."
Is this pretty real?
This
Well,
is
what
pretty-
a realness.
It gets pretty real. Yeah, for
On
sure.
here.
On the show today, for sure. I mean,
And I feel like there's growth because I first started this because I did feel like I was. There's some things out there where I felt like I was kind of, enemy of society, and this was an outlet. So I got with a dude and was like, I'm gonna start. Okay, I'll join you. This is better putting my voice out there than trying to do jokes with a bunch of comedians. I want to get out there even more, and so it was growth because that's what I want, but I wasn't. I was getting drunk on every show because I still didn't feel that. I wanted to put my name out there, but I wasn't that confident.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to take a break from that. And then if I do have a sip, I need to know where I'm at. And then I've had so many different people on, and I think that's helped. It's kind of like I was saying, it's like a school. You learn yourself. And then you're also putting a voice out there.
you learn. I've learned.
I would have never met you before. This is amazing.
Oh, for sure.
Now I feel like we're friends.
We have a real friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And it was so fun, being at your birthday party. Everybody knows it was your birthday here.
Really
Okay.
coming? Wow.
Is that I show up like a big celebrity, but also Shannon was there, and Shannon was
From Sacramento.
He came from Sac, and he was I remember. I'll never forget that first show. I was fresh, retired, and just getting to know myself as a retiree, and I just remember, everybody that showed up that day, and it was exciting, and he remembered me. In fact, he won my book in the raffle.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
That's why we had the picture
Yeah,
with it.
yeah,
Okay.
that's exactly. And so I was so grateful for the people and the time that I've been able to be on your show. But when you go back and we talk about preparing for the show, is that one of the things that I have a bit of a mission statement that I read to my guests, and it's about that our stories have a wisdom, and we have to share our stories with other people to really fill in those gaps, because our stories will help other people. And I had them tell stories of trauma in the hope that some 15, 16-year-old kid who's struggling in school, through COVID, and has some anxiety and they're having trouble identifying with themselves, will hear this story and go, wow, if that person can make it through that, I can make it through this. So my co-host, Joe, we have
Black Phish.
so Joe is a really great guy, and so I met Joe recently, right after my retirement. I got picked up by Zach Brown, the country music guy, has a not-for-profit Camp Southern Ground outside of Atlanta, and it's a wonderful camp. And one of the things that he does out there is he has something called Warrior Week, where we take veterans in transition and we give them the tools to succeed in society, because veteran transition is very difficult. And so I noticed that I was on one of the mentors out there, because they felt that, hey, Mark was able to successfully transition out of the Marine Corps after 10 years, and then out of law enforcement after 27. He may have some real nuggets to pass on to these guys. And so I recognized that Joe had a wonderful voice, a silky voice. And I go, hey, Joe, when you get home, you should probably get into radio or start a podcast. And so a couple of years later, Joe and I kind of kept in touch. But I was telling the story earlier about myself at a veterans ceremony, recognizing there weren't a lot of veterans there. And so I wrote this this piece called Heroes for Hope, and posted it. And Joe actually read it, and he goes, "Mark, that was a wonderful piece, and I'd like to do a podcast on that." And so we set up a podcast series. He's a guy. He has his own radio show, his international radio show, and does great work in the PTSD and veteran suicide prevention. He's a 2-time suicide survivor himself, and he's got a great voice, very engaging. So him and I play off each other very well on Heroes for Hope, and so it's just been a really good experience. And initially, I wanted to do just one every other week because, being a writer, I'm writing, I'm promoting, and those type of things. And I can literally probably do one a week now. But it's just been wonderful. All sorts of great stories out there. And it's hard. Some of the stories that I want to tell the most, and I'm thinking of a couple of them now. I'm not going to even allude to them. Is that people have to learn to tell them at their own pace. Yeah. And I know the whole story. They've told me the story, but they don't want to go on the podcast. And I go, I'm here when you're ready because your story is going to help somebody. It's going to help somebody.
I'm probably not sure if you're just trying to make some media type thing.
Yeah, everybody's looking for a platform, but I think for me is that for Heroes for Hope, I think that I've really established an expectation where when people are listening to my show, they go, I'm going to learn something. I'm going to learn something on this. And so people are looking forward to getting on the show. It really is about post-traumatic growth. It's that, your life is better now because of that trauma that you went through. And this is what I share to give other people hope. But some people are ready to tell their stories and other people aren't. But regardless, is that, you have a story in you. I remember my Pinatubo story, the survival story in an earthquake or in a volcanic eruption and earthquake and typhoon, is that I knew I had a story in me. I just had to learn how to tell it right. It's like being a cop, telling cop stories, is that these stories are so remote to your average person, they're not going to understand. I mean, I used to say, my dad was a journalist, and he would say, "Hey, Mark, you should tell those stories. You tell those stories." I go, "Yeah, Dad, but if I tell a story of the triple homicide, I lose a listener after the first body, because people, they can't wrap their heads around those type of traumas, So it's all about storytelling, And so for me, as a writer, you can see some other things on my website that I have posted. I choose to tell my stories uniquely. It's like my story that I wrote, my first book, Typhoon Coast, that's my post-traumatic growth, telling that story. That's the way that I chose to tell that story. And so do I need to tell that story autobiographically? Well, people who know me, they know that story is me. And but what I do is that I tell that story so that some kid can benefit from it. Some parent can have the kid read that book. Some adult can benefit from it. So I just thought it was a real blessing for that story to come out that way.
Yeah, it's amazing that
Yeah.
we have the power to put things like that out there. It's sort of after I got over doing what I do with getting wrap friends on. I found like Kevin Briggs and certain people that even you yourself that wow, I can actually get people to actually put a real show where I'm now trying to get to hear people's stories instead of here I'm just drinking and we're putting on music and I'm just partying it up. Making it through 2 hours of just goofiness.
Look, it's interesting because some people, everybody has a story. Yeah. Everybody has a story. I mean, in fact, there's a statistic that says 81% of all Americans feel that they have a story in them, but very few, probably less than 3%, actually write it. Fewer actually bring it to something that's marketable. That's probably the same for music. But some other people, they're very good coordinators. They bring the talent and they bring people together. And
that's right. Try to bring people together.
Yeah, you bring people together. In fact, I have Mike Bernhardt was a past guest of mine, and he's a poet. And during COVID, and he had a trauma that he discussed on the podcast. He lost his wife at a young age, and but he was able to bring poets from all over America together to create a book of poetry about grief, and that was very appropriate during COVID. So he did a great service for that, And then and just for somebody to know that man, this guy was able to do that. I could probably do that too. So
We got the we're going through some Blackfish, but we're gonna just talk about we want to get you to express yourself here within the Blackfish.
Yeah.
So I mean, is there anything? What would you like to express right now? I mean, I got some questions. Right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Get
Go ahead.
Okay. I mean, you man, so phenomenal.
The Phenomenal Blackfish album.
Yeah, why the phenomenal? I mean, I can think of my ways, but why you?
Phenomenal is, who you define yourself to be. And I feel like I'm a phenomenal person as an artist and as a person. So I went with the Phenomenal Blackfish.
This is let's see if I do have some questions that came in about you while we were here, and so what age did you start the rapping?
2014.
And you had some influences, but then and now. Well, that's
Influences?
quite a question there. The question I had come in, it says, what are some of your influences then and now? Like when you started
Then I
now.
didn't really have any influence. Probably my sister. She was rapping on and off.
Okay.
But then, what do you say? Now? I listen to Nas. Nas from New York. He's pretty dope.
I heard the Nas.
Pretty dope. He's one of my influences. But that's about it. And I listen to jazz.
Okay.
So I just kind of like don't really have too many influences to answer that question.
Don't forget my question. Those were getting deep. I'm just gonna get to who was tuning in and your who's becoming your fan now questions. How are you received in the rap community? How you feel you're received in the rap community
Today, I'm just my own person. Sometimes, how you say it? I think I'm received pretty well. I make music for the soul, so I don't. When I'm selling my music, I'm saying it's gospel hip hop. But at the same time, it's music. I just renamed music for the soul because I don't want to categorize it, give it a name, and say, "Hey, my music is gospel, and I only talk about God." That's it.
I feel like you just keep it real.
Just want to be honest, but sometimes being too honest can get you hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just, you know what I mean. I don't. You keep it going. I just want to keep my personal business. So. Yeah. But I'm at a point now where it's kind of like I'm just going to keep my personal.
Yeah, you get tested. You get tested in life.
Well, you're going to get tested in life, but people have a choice.
I can't believe you said because when you were talking about Lecrae, and he knows a lot. So he knows a lot of gospel artists. So I know a few. The Blackfish knows a lot. Well, enough to where it's like okay.
Lecrae, Kanye West did it for a while, and it was.
Don't know what the Kanye. I mean,
that was a good album he did.
It was good. But
I mean, even with gospel rap, some people get personal with it, some people don't. They just give it. They just shed their light on how God has blessed them, and that's what I'm doing going forward with my music.
You were saying Lil Flip, dude. Now this is something I gotta hear, man.
Well, Lil Flip was supposed to. I said Lil Flip. What I said?
You said Lil Flip doing.
Yeah, he's doing gospel.
Hey.
I told you that yesterday.
No, but I heard you say that, and I tuned into your show you showed me.
Yeah, I did the other podcast. Lil Flip is doing gospel right now, so shout out to Lil Flip. I'm supposed to be doing a song with him. I think he charged a couple grand for a verse, but he's a pretty phenomenal artist himself. The way how he transformed from hip hop into gospel, gave his soul to the Lord. Gave his help to the Lord.
Definitely
Jesus
got
Christ.
The Christians tuning in.
So that's a blessing.
I tell you what, that's what it's all about.
He transformed his life.
Yeah, transforming and giving yourself to the Lord. I mean,
Yeah.
I cannot say
this is your belief there, Mark.
Oh man, I tell you what, like I said, we hate each other, we don't know each other. When we echo each other's, the things that work for us is that I deal with people who go through a lot of traumas, and how do they get back up? And it's really is that God finds us through our brokenness.
He will.
And you have to become vulnerable enough and honest enough to really just to fall. And you can't fall any further, and you get back up because you surrender yourself to God.
Yeah.
You drop your ego and all those things that got you to where you want to go. But man, it's all about just vulnerability, because that being real is going to help somebody.
Right.
So many people just
Exactly.
walking around with shields. I mean, for me, in the end, is it as a cop, is that I was able to deal with a lot of stuff, but what I was in the end, I was a person that was no longer emotionally available.
Right.
And I wanted
you gotta
to
shut those off.
take
Yeah,
off.
feelings
I
off.
wanted to take off the armor, and I wanted to reignite all those feelings that I have.
Yeah.
You know, and because and that's where life is at, man. That's when you get present, and man, you know that. You know, we all suffer in life. It's the long suffering life is. But when you are present, you know, man, I'm with God right now.
Right.
God
Right.
is good, and then you know what, shit happens.
Right. Even with the
only
shield, you were saying,
Yeah.
God says in the Bible what he said. Breastplate of righteousness, helmet of salvation.
Mm-hmm.
I think you get tested even
You know,
more.
that's in the Bible itself.
If you're a man of God, I think you get tested even more. So it's weird. People think, some certain people think, yeah, I'm good. I'm a man of God. You know, not to say me, but I get tested even
Yeah,
more.
you do.
I would think.
You do.
Yeah.
Well,
Because you want to see how real God wants to see how real
And
you are.
you look in the Bible, and one of the things that I got into this year through, you know, I told you earlier that I got into meditation, devout meditator for at least well over 6 years, is that my meditation life has become my prayer life. Meditation is kind of a word that people use because they don't know how to pray, you know? And so I've developed my prayer life, and one of the things that I do now is I have this app where it's Bible in a year. And so you're listening to the whole Bible in a year. And I tell you what, if when you know the Bible, you know man's experience, and the stuff
Correct.
the stuff that we are doing today shouldn't shock you, because you know you have to agree that the Bible minimally is a work of creative fiction, you
Yeah.
know, historical fiction. Okay,
Yes.
is that it happened? It's been documented that these cultures have warred and come and gone. Is that we needed
Yeah.
some type of
And
religion?
when we think that we can handle anything, that's when we're going to get tested even more. Because,
Right.
yeah, like, I haven't been really shocked in life. Then when something hit me, I was a little more shocked. Like I always say, when I got ran over. But the reason it was a little bit of shocking. Yeah, it was a little shocking because, like, I thought I've done security and seen those kind of people that you know, that are robbing all the stores. So when it happened to me, I was like, wait, how did this happen? I thought I knew these kind of, I judge these kind of characters because all my experience. And now I get taken down. And so it was a little shocking to me.
Come to Jesus moment.
But so we wanted to we get a song from the Black Phish here. You're very popular, man, on the Google because Black Phish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to get the right spelling.
Yeah. PHIS.
I think you may even be another Black Phish.
What are the band's Fish? There's a band Fish.
Yeah.
But there's no Blackfish.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm the
it takes you there.
one and original Blackfish.
You know, that's something you got to look at. I know that when you come up with
Spelling.
that,
You know, because Fish is the band.
Oh, yeah.
They
Oh, yeah,
feel
for
the
sure.
same way as me.
Yeah.
But I'm the only Blackfish out there.
Yeah, and you
They have
Yeah.
a movie called Blackfish.
They actually are.
Well,
I
And
saw
also,
that.
they are a bunch of white guys too. There is
yeah, they are. They are. But you know what? I found that name randomly.
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
I'll tell you
So,
my name changed over the
Let's
years.
try to track the 5 I think we're going to 6 here.
Are you on the Phenomenal album?
Oh, I didn't even turn it up yet.
16 Bar Machine.
Wait, no, I want to do the 6 here. So this is going to be
Black Lives Matter.
the last. Is this the Black Lives? Why didn't I see? I didn't see that on Spotify. We were talking about that when you left.
Well,
that
it's
had the Black
it's
Lives
the
Matter.
initials be okay. So I said,
Okay.
COVID-19, got the one on standby. Can't work like I want to, cause I need 6 feet. Can't sell my music. How I'm gonna eat? The government is lazy. They don't care about the people. They don't care to the people. So how we equal? Black Lives Matter. That's real facts. They don't care about us. So we get shot in the back. George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and Michael Brown. Look how they gunned them down. The cops walk free while families grieve. Where is the justice? Where is the peace? Can we all get along? That's Rodney King. That's him okay. Well, God will be okay. Love your neighbor like yourself. We are God, please the same. Ain't nobody perfect. You can't change the world until you change yourself. Why should I be judged by the color of my skin? Martin Luther died, and racism lives. A lot of darkness in the world. Turn on the light. We the people, we gonna be alright. United we stand, divided we fall. Ain't that the truth? Salute to my people. COVID-19 today. Black Lives Matter's going crazy. Wish someone would save me. Ask the Lord for safety. I wish the pain would stop. Try to understand and calculate my thoughts. I wish the pain would stop. Try to understand and calculate my thoughts. Like Marvin Gaye, tell me what's going on right now. It's time for a change, so everyone come together right now. Every day people's dying. Get on your knees, bow down and pray. Just say his name. Lord, we need your saving grace. Black Lives Matter. It matters, it matters, it matters. COVID-19 got us shook. COVID-19 got us shook. Black Lives Matter. It matters to us. COVID-19 got us shook up. Yeah, yeah. COVID-19 today. Black Matter's going crazy.
There you go.
Well, yeah.
You're like a DJ.
Yeah. So the BLM,
Black Lives Matter.
and that is the thing.
Yeah.
So Black Lives Matter, it was a very tricky thing during that time because yes, of course, Black Lives Matter.
Well, it's still going on today, so. Yeah.
Well, okay, yeah. Let's get so. Of course, Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
But the BLM, people separate that.
Yeah, they do.
So my show is all about people telling. Obviously, it's getting a little issues at times, but my show is all about.
I don't separate
expressing themselves
because I don't separate it because some people want hey, all lives matter, which they do. I don't just specifically. I respect everybody for who they come in. They come in all age, shapes, and sizes. So whatever you believe in, you believe it. But I don't discriminate nobody's life at all. Yeah. So I can make a song tonight, and call All Lives Matter, which you're gonna get people backlash. Hey man, what do you mean?
Yeah,
but I'm just being myself.
So yeah,
gotta make music for the
during
soul.
that time too. And
so all lives do matter. That's what matters.
It's so weird that
we're human beings, man. That's what matters.
The BLM, I saw the separation.
Yeah,
we seen where people are going crazy in the streets, BLM, but then yes, it means Black Lives Matter, so of course Black Lives Matter, but then you see the other stuff, and then so I can see the separation, but also I also see how all lives matter means people just want to fit in,
right.
I mean, it's so we had a crazy world going on where people I saw things wrong with people, going out there in the street because, of course, that cop, he was a horrible officer, and that's not how.
Which one are you talking about?
The reason the whole BLM started.
With the I don't remember
George Floyd situation.
Well, it started way before then, though. So
okay, well it's
some years back.
That's when it was noticeable.
No, before then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, see. Okay.
Michael Brown.
Yeah.
Remember when Michael Brown, the situation when he was in a liquor store and
was that
after
him. That or
Michael Brown was way before George Floyd.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the one with the cigarettes, right?
George Floyd was
apparently selling cigarettes.
Right, selling cigarettes. They chased him down, and then I don't know. I think I've seen a little bit of the video.
But it was about that time.
Or even Castillo,
George Floyd. I guess
Castillo,
George Floyd
the one that was running away from the police officer as he gets shot in the back, or the guy that gets pulled over. Here's the problem: is that it's always been there.
Yeah.
Now it's in the view of
Yeah.
white America.
Right.
I can say that because I'm a middle-aged white guy.
All respect.
Yeah.
But it's just always been there, like he said. It's just more George Floyd. That's 2020.
So it's become on 60
White
Minutes
was
now.
crazy.
Everybody knows, but
Yeah.
it's always been there.
But it's always
They
been
say,
there.
oh wow, look at this racism's new. No, it's not.
It's not.
Well,
George Floyd. That's
George
just
Floyd brought it out to where it was like, okay,
he got it back out there where people are talking about it again.
Well, why don't we just go all the way back to Emmett Till?
Yeah, you can go back there and tell it happened. He's right.
So, I mean,
So, like he said, it's
Yeah, sure.
always been there, but some people are afraid to talk about it, some people are not.
well, yeah, it's what I mean. I
Touchy
love
subject, you know?
talk. Yeah. Well, we don't have too much time. That's yeah. But,
So that's what you do. You bring out this big topic when
At
you,
the
the
end of
last
the
minute. So,
well, it gets wrapped up.
is there a second half of this?
Yeah,
exactly,
well,
exactly.
we could all come back on. But I guess what it is yeah. I mean, this shows.
That's
all
a big
about-
story. It's a lot to talk about.
But George Floyd seemed to bring it out because it was like, wait, of course this guy's wrong. So I think everyone believes he was wrong, and that's where things need to change. And
Well, you know what? And I'm not gonna.
did I catch that right?
I
I'm
didn't-
sorry, I looked down at my time and I thought he said,
George Floyd was wrong.
yeah. That's what I thought I heard too.
He did say that.
Okay. That was just.
He said George
was
Floyd.
wrong.
But how was he
Oh,
wrong?
what happened to George Floyd?
What
was
you mean
wrong.
what happened to him was wrong?
No, I was actually just kind of catching up my own. And
There's
then I flipped it.
I was like,
no, okay.
I'm trying to catch what he was saying too.
Okay, yeah, let's let's end things. But not, I mean,
We're leaving on a bad note.
no.
you know
Let's leave it on.
No.
On a positive note.
I know what I'm doing
topic.
is I'm ending things on topic and then ending.
I was gonna ask him a
What
question
I-
about
what I-
it.
Yeah.
No,
there's-
that's why I'm staying on. I mean, without going on to
you
an
know,
extra
Luke,
topic.
there's
So what I mean is the George Floyd situation was wrong.
There we go.
So
Clarified it.
So the reason I wasn't clarifying was because I was like, see where we go.
He
with
said
this.
George Floyd was wrong.
I was
What the
like,
hell?
let's see where we go with this.
Okay.
But yeah, the George Floyd situation was wrong, and I felt like that was the wake up
They
call.
could have handled it better, of course.
But I mean, because he killed the guy who was on his neck for.
so let's
9 minutes, 8 minutes.
Yeah,
So because I know we're winding down here, I want to revisit one offer that I made you earlier in the show. Is that I think that we all agree is that the police, being a police officer, is undebatably the most important job we have
America.
in this country. Okay.
Yeah.
And we have to recruit the best people into it.
Definitely.
Hands down, we have to say, you know what, the failure of that profession, because one thing that I tell people when I talk about this is we police based upon a public expectation, and those police officers were in those situations because the public expected them
Yeah.
to be there. So we have to also reevaluate these also, is that these police officers, we have to recruit our most talented, honest citizens to be police officers. You can't cut corners on it. We have to reach out and actively recruit the best people for it.
so-
And so earlier in the program, I made that offer, is that I think it would be great for hip hop rappers to go into police stations and partner with a police officer who equally wants
I
to.
feel that.
this.
That takes-
And because once again, like I brought out in the beginning of this,
Takes some change, yeah.
Yeah,
is
it does.
it we hate each other because we don't know each other.
Oh,
And
man,
you would
talk
be
about the
surprised.
homeless.
Yeah, you would be surprised about how many people don't know a cop.
Like the George Floyd
Yeah.
cop needed to be behind the desk because he had past complaints, and that's what would have saved that. So that needs to be changed.
A lot.
Shit, he needed to be behind bars, but that's
Yeah.
just me.
Well, well,
you know what,
yeah.
buddy?
I mean, but I say it could have been nipped in the bud a lot
But-
sooner, and now someone's life had
A
to
lot,
take.
but you know what? A lot of those situations they could have avoided. A lot of those people
Yeah.
that died could have still been living. You know, but it's based on.
We got a crazy day and
That's
age.
another
right
day.
here.
It's
We got a
another
crazy day and age here. We got a Walgreens security guard that just shot and killed someone, but we're to the point where I was reading the comment, and I'm
Then you have a Pleasanton security guard that was just shot and killed.
see,
Yeah.
But the crazy thing,
So-
that was that was crazy because he was going after the guy. But my thing is like, we come to a crazy day and age where I saw that thing with the Walgreens out here, and I'm like, well, was a person stealing? Yeah, I get so that's not right, but that's crazy. That's my thought process, and then I'm like, reading the comments, I'm like, dang,
We're-
people actually agreeing with this. People are saying, well, the person stole, so they deserved it. And like, that's why people need to do something about this. So that kind of stuff doesn't need to happen.
Luke, we are a fear-based society. Whenever you see fear that's encouraged, question that. Always question fear. Why is this person trying to scare me?
So I guess we're getting the official wrap. So like this program was sponsored by the Crunchy Chicken, right? The Crunchy Chicken. Usually Danny Decky would do some kind of segment to leeway towards shrimp or chicken, but he's not here. I would suggest going to see Evil Dead Rise, great movie, and Sweet Tooth on the Netflix, and Champions by Woody Harrelson, great show.
Tribe already.
And he's a nice guy. And Dave, good show. Weird. The guy always talks about his penis. I don't know. Weird. And so I guess we're wrapping things up here with the Blackfish and the Mark Clifford.
Yeah, if you want to get a hold of me, you can go to
Mark Clifford
markrclifford.com. Mark, M-A-R-K-R Clifford, like the bigreddog.com. You can see my podcast episodes, Heroes for Hope, are on there. They're also at Doc's Boneyard on probably every platform out there. You can check out my blog. It's all about post-traumatic growth. I'll be one of the featured authors at the Brentwood Literary Walk this Sunday from noon to 4, and I'll be at Rubiano's. I'll talk about Typhoon Coast, the story behind that, sell some books, some bling, talk about my second book, Earthquake Coast, and Heroes for Hope. So thanks for having me on, and great meeting you.
Yes.
Oh, okay, Blackfish.
Right.
Now we're doing an outro.
Contact.
Last words, and I got a question that came in specifically for you, and this is probably be good for the Dana here. Why does God allow evil? And then last words, boom, that's you.
Why do we allow evil?
Yeah.
It teaches all a lesson. I mean, evil's been in the beginning of time since Adam and Eve. That's so they say in the Bible, in a sense. And so since Adam didn't listen to God's words, we're all sinned.
Yeah.
We're all sinners now. But Jesus came to reconcile all that so we can die. He died for our sins and said, okay, I'm going to give you guys a second chance at life if you dedicate your life to me. And we'll see how that plays out, basically.
That was a good wrap up.
And Blackfish, Black PHISH 7 Instagram.
We did it. This is what
Peace, love, and soul.
Got
Soul Train.
I think I got a DJ person on it next week, and a guy that's going to talk some
Gotta let you know.
gospel stuff. Oh, and dude's got to grow up. Stop. Hey, if you're 50s and up, stop sending the penis pics. It's weird. It's weird. Stop it. It's weird. And yeah. I think that's it. That's what's really happening next week.
All right. So for the Instagram, he was saying something.